so I'm here with Jonathan Christian, who's the lead designer at Sumo Digital, and we're here to talk about LittleBigPlanet 3, which you may or may not know is out pretty soon.
Very soon, yeah.
Yeah, pretty soon. So, first question, what's it like taking on almost the mantle of LittleBigPlanet 3? Because it kind of still feels like it's very much Media Molecule's baby, almost.
Yeah, it's quite exciting, really. I mean, there's a lot of the team have had history with LBP in one way or another. I mean, I myself, I've been working on LBP since LBP1 and the DLC packs. And we've got some guys, some of the top guys from the community as well. And it's to be able to bring all kind of those ideas that we've been wanting to do for quite a while to the table. It's really cool. Yeah, it's exciting, definitely.
Yeah, and you mentioned that Sumo definitely does have that history, that you've been involved with LittleBigPlanet for a long time. Maybe not as the lead developer, the title, but you have been there all the way through almost, haven't you?
Yeah, Sumo itself, we did the cross controller DLC pack. We helped out quite a lot on the Vita version as well with the guys at Tarsier. And yeah, I before Sumo I worked in LVP as well, and we've got certain members of the team who are kind of similar to me as well. Like they've kind of been with the franchise for a many number of years. And everyone's really kind of gets LVP, and it's got kind of a really unique ethos about it. The whole kind of the creation side is obviously is kind of a unique selling point, but even to the art style and kind of the feel, it's quite a unique headspace that you have to kind of get yourself into. But yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Good headspace.
So I mean, the most attention-grabbing thing with LittleBigPlanet 3 is that you've got these new characters.
Yes.
And firstly, that must have been quite daunting to have to add something quite so substantial to the formula.
Yeah, I mean, we're always very, very keen on making, especially the story mode, really fresh, and obviously the create mode feeds the story mode. So the characters were a natural fit really into that. The idea that we really wanted to make the gameplay feel different. And yeah, it's all about, as with everything in LVP, it's all about the gameplay and how it feels. If it feels great, like when it's really rough, then you know that when it starts to kind of get these additional layers of polish, it's going to be even more awesome. So it's taking that kind of that philosophy and applying it to, say, the development of the characters. That's kind of the way we approached it.
Yeah, I mean, where did you get the ideas for characters like Toggle with the size changing mechanic?
So all over the place, really. They all started off as really simple gameplay prototypes. So early Toggle would have been maybe a block, or we even used the tools for Satbots and kind of played around with them just so we can get a feel of the best mechanics.
Did you ask Mike Bithell if you could borrow his character designs?
The visuals came a little bit later. We tried to nail the gameplay first, and it's just a case of iteration and throwing away ideas that don't work, and then obviously the strongest ones stick. And then from there, it's all about kind of making sure visually they have these unique silhouettes and they kind of fit with the Sackboy, the Sack family, but they still look kind of unique in their own right as well.
Sticking with the characters, one thing that I've wondered about is how you're handling all of the costumes and bits of customization that you're able to have in all of the LittleBigPlanets up until this point. Am I going to be able to have Toggle dressed up as Iron Man or something like that, or is that something that's...
They are character-specific costumes because they're so unique in how they look.
Yeah, well, I kind of want a Hulk Smasher.
Well, yeah, I think we've had discussions about kind of, especially you can imagine famous foursomes and whatever. You can imagine in a lineup certain costumes you kind of get out of that. So I think there's some really cool opportunities for those guys. But yeah, they are their own costumes that are unique to that character.
And with the 4 different characters, it kind of feels like there's more of a cooperative focus on how the game's going to play, but I mean, obviously it's going to still have to be single player, isn't it? It
is. I mean, the character levels are pretty much wholly designed around that character. So you will get an Oddsock level, you come across one of those in the story, and you'll all play as Oddsock. There are examples in the story where you can explore the same environment with 2 different characters. We have these exploration hubs, and the idea of the hub is to, as Sackboy, unlock the principal character for it. So
Right.
then you can come back later with Toggle and you can get to things that maybe Sackboy couldn't get to. But the main story mode is focused around a single character, up to 4 players, and the reason for that is it's because they're so wildly different. You're never gonna achieve a really focused level that feels great with that character if you have to consider, oh, if I'm Swoop, I'm going to basically fly through the entire thing.
Yeah, Swoop kind of feels like it might be. I always remember it playing through Trine with the 3 characters, and it was always like the wizard. It's all like, if I can't figure it out, I'm just going to stick everyone on a block and move them up there. You kind of feel a little bit like Swoop could end up being like that if you're not very careful.
Yeah, in those environments where you've got Swoop as part of, say, like a cooperative with the different characters, definitely. And we found ways to gate him, but Swoop's levels that we should design around Swoop are very different to all of the characters for obvious reasons. I mean, it's more. It's quite hard to explain. It's more almost like a kind of shootery style experience, I suppose. As in,
that's
quite
like
a side-scrolling shooter.
Right, okay.
It's not a first person.
Yes, I was going to say, he's just an innocent-looking little bird. Yeah. Like, why are you giving him guns and stuff?
Those side-scrollers. So the way you have to kind of fly around like hazards, and it's a little bit different. So you can't rely on the platforms and the environment quite so much.
Mm. But I mean, you do have a lot more 3D.
Yes.
Kind of, you could have almost called this LittleBigPlanet 3D if you really wanted to push it. But you've got like 16 levels pushing into the background, isn't it?
Yeah, we've got 16 layers, and from a play perspective, I think what you'll notice in like the story mode is that we use those layers for interesting layouts. So when you're travelling through the environment, you'll often be going backwards and forwards into the screen, and we try and do a lot with that, so it feels engaging. It feels like you're exploring the environment. On a more complicated level, when you're a creator, you can do some pretty crazy stuff with moving stuff in and out smoothly. And in the recent beta, we've seen people create 3D action adventures from it, and it opens up a lot more possibilities.
So someone could actually make that first-person shooter Swoop.
Yes, you could. Yeah.
But speaking on the creation side of things, like for the first time player, it's going to be really quite overwhelming to get into it. And I know, just like I remember from LittleBigPlanet 1 and 2, just sat there just going, how on earth am I going to? How am I doing switches again? I've completely forgotten how to do switches, that kind of thing. How do you manage that in LittleBigPlanet 3?
So there's a few things we've done. In a simple level, when you first enter Create, you will not be presented with all the tools. You'll be in simple Create mode, which it gives you all the really easy to understand logical tools that kind of work with the physics in an understandable way. Obviously, you can switch it up if you want, if you start to feel more confident. To help players who probably never created before or are vaguely familiar with Create, we've got a new little mini adventure called Poppet Puzzles. And what these are is that it's a fully fledged single player experience, but you're using the tools, using the Poppet as you go through the level to do complete little kind of physical puzzles and like platforming challenges to get you through. So at the end of that sequence, you will kind of have almost like the muscle memory of how to use Poppet and how to use this tool, because you've been using it quite a lot throughout. For more advanced creators, especially for some of the new tools, we've added the ability to set the autopilot on either a mobile or a tablet. So when you highlight a tool in Poppet, it will play the relevant video and give you some tips and tricks on how to use it. So
it's like a second screen.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
That's quite a cool sounding idea.
It's going to be really useful. And of course, on PlayStation 4, you've got the live stream. So we're planning on doing a lot of stuff with like developer make-throughs and kind of, this is how we did this. And of course, I think the community embrace that themselves as well. And like, this is how I made this, and people can watch it too.
Kind of Blue Peter feel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely.
Speaking of like PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 3, how have you managed to like keep the integrity of the game and like get all of this stuff still back onto the PlayStation 3 again?
I guess a lot of hard work. I mean, the feature-wise, there are a few differences. PlayStation 4, obviously, the graphics are better. It's 1080p, and everything's had a a pass. So like Sackboy looks really kind of ultra detailed. You can see the individual stitching and stuff, and all the objects and materials all the way back to from LVP1 have all kind of been brought more to life, I suppose, on PlayStation 4. So even like the materials are really touchable. There's a couple of exclusive things, such as trailers on PlayStation 4, which you can attach to levels when you publish them. This is like a preview video. And we've got an additional chip as well, the interactive live stream sensor, which allows you to build levels around the idea of the audience voting on outcomes. And you can dictate that in create mode. So you could do a Twitch plays LVP if you set it up in your level. But in terms of everything else, like the story levels, it's the same content, but it just looks a lot better on PlayStation 4.
Cool. Finally, the obligatory stupid question.
Fine.
Are Sackboy and his chums, are they machine washable or dry clean only?
I don't know, I've not checked the label.
Is it? Does he have a little label in the game? Is there something that's you'll have to check with the artist?
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Right, thanks a lot for your time.
Anyway, thanks a lot. Cheers, man.